Imagine 1947, in the peaceful town of Roswell, New Mexico. An ordinary summer day turns into an enigma that defies human understanding. A local herder stumbles upon mysterious debris on his land. The U.S. Air Force intervenes, first announcing the recovery of a flying disc, then retracts its remarks to talk about a simple weather balloon. The Roswell incident was born, arousing worldwide fascination and planting a seed of doubt that still sprouts today. What really happened in Roswell in 1947? The Roswell incident is not an isolated case in New Mexico. The region is a hotbed of UFO activity, with many reports documented over the years. Military installations like White Sands are frequently cited as hotspots in these inexplicable observations. New Mexico is a land steeped in the history and legends of the indigenous peoples who live there. These enigmatic narratives, transmitted from generation to generation, evoke beings from heaven, intermediate spirits, celestial messengers. These stories, although different from modern UFO stories, share a common root: the encounter with the unknown, with the inexplicable, with the extraordinary. New Mexico has a fairly rich history of UFO sightings. The proximity of several military installations, including the secretive Zone 51 in neighboring Nevada, has fueled speculation about unusual activities in the sky. In parallel to these observations, Project Blue Book, an official study of UFOs conducted by the U.S. Air Force from 1952 to 1969, documented several cases of UFO sightings in New Mexico. One of the most famous cases, apart from the Roswell incident, is the observation of Socorro in 1964. Lonnie Zamora, a policeman from Socorro, reported seeing an egg-shaped object land, and described people in white suits near the object. Zamora also noted an unusual badge on the object. His observation was corroborated by physical traces left at the site and was studied by local police and the military. The southwestern United States, including New Mexico, is rich in stories and legends from indigenous peoples. Although there are no specific UFO accounts that exactly resemble the modern history of flying saucers or UFO crashes, many indigenous cultures in this region of the world have accounts of contact with supernatural or spiritual beings that can be interpreted in a modern context as being related to UFO phenomena. Among the Arizona Hopis, one of the most captivating stories is about the Kachinas, who are considered spiritual or intermediate beings. They are revered as messengers between the world of humans and the spiritual world. The Kachinas are often described as coming from heaven or returning to heaven. These descriptions naturally lead to parallels with extraterrestrial visitors or UFO phenomena. For the Hopi, the Kachinas play a crucial role in their ceremonies and belief system. They have profound meanings that go far beyond modern interpretations of UFOs. Similarly, the Navajo people who live across Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico have stories of entities that are called Yeris. These minds play a significant role in Navajo cosmology. Some of the Yeris are sometimes described as coming from other worlds or other dimensions. The Pueblos, another indigenous people from Arizona and New Mexico, also have similar stories of being from the sky. These beings are often described as providing help or education to humans. The stories of these peoples are rooted in a rich cultural and spiritual context. A question arises: is there a link between the indigenous narratives, the Roswell incident, and other UFO sightings in the New Mexico region? Is it possible that these traditional stories reflect past encounters with unexplained phenomena similar to those reported in more modern incidents? Or are these indigenous narratives a reflection of a much more complex system of beliefs and spirituality, which is not directly related to UFO sightings? Spiritual entities venerated by these peoples are part of a rich cultural and spiritual tradition. The Hopi Kachinas, the Navajo Yeris, and the Pueblos celestial beings are much more than just visitors to space in these cultures. For them, they are above all spiritual entities, messengers and teachers. They are fundamental elements of cosmology and spirituality. The similarity of these accounts with UFOs' modern observations remains intriguing. The sky and the stars have been a source of mystery and fascination for humanity for millennia. The legends of celestial visitors are deeply rooted in various cultures around the world. Whether it is the indigenous peoples of Australia, the Hopis in North America, the Dogon in West Africa, the Indians of North America, or the ancient civilizations such as the Sumerians, the Egyptians, and the Greeks. Not to mention the Maya culture in Central America, the ancient Chinese culture, and the Vedic culture in India. While each of these cultures has its own spiritual or religious perspective, they all share a deep conviction that beings or entities from beyond our world interact with humans. These interactions are often intended to educate, guide human evolution, and convey wisdom and knowledge. New Mexico, the land of ancient stories and mysteries, witnessed many unexplained celestial phenomena long before the famous Roswell incident in 1947. This region, with its large number of military installations, advanced research centers, and vast desert territories, has always been a privileged scene for observing strange events in the sky. In March 1950, the town of Farmington was the scene of a massive UFO appearance. For 3 days in a row, hundreds of witnesses reported seeing unidentified objects, described as flying saucers, moving at breakneck speed through airspace. Nearly 3 decades later, in 1979, another UFO case made headlines in the small town of Dulce, also in New Mexico. Paul Benowitz, a local resident, claimed to have detected electronic signals coming from a supposed secret UFO underground base not far from the city. More recently, at the beginning of the 21st century, Albuquerque was also the site of many UFO sightings. One of the most striking cases dates back to 2004, when a resident of the city filmed a series of mysterious lights moving quickly through the night sky and forming patterns that were constantly changing shapes.
Orlando, bring me my glasses, hurry, run!
Let's zoom in.
You guys, there's like 5 of them.
How about from this angle?
There we go, you can see it.
That's my voice. I was in downtown Albuquerque last night when I saw this. You can hear my friends and me totally bewildered, and we weren't alone. As soon as those lights took to New Mexico's skies, it seemed like they were gone.
They're like dissipating into nothing.
Let's look at the flying objects through night vision. Andrew Arredondo took this video. You can see an almost straight line crossing the sky of dozens of those orbs.
It is interesting to note that many of these UFO sightings occurred near military bases, some of which are classified as secret. This suggests that New Mexico has always been, and remains to this day, a veritable crossroads of inexplicable activities in the sky. New Mexico therefore seems to be a real hotbed of paranormal activities and unidentified phenomena. Apart from UFO sightings and local legends, there are also other mysteries related to this region. The All-Sky Telescope of the Earth Observatory at Stanford University, for example, has detected many transient light events at high altitudes. These events are commonly called elves and sprites. These are unusual atmospheric phenomena that are still poorly understood. Whether these observations are related to extraterrestrial activities, covert military experiments, or simply natural phenomena remains an open question. The accumulation of these mysterious events arouses the interest of many researchers, ufologists, and mystery seekers. The UFO phenomenon is not new in the local folklore of the indigenous peoples of New Mexico. The Hopi, Navajo, Pueblos, and many other tribes in this region have long had stories of celestial visitors and spiritual beings from heaven. These stories, while different from UFO's contemporary testimonies, show a human fascination with the sky and the unknown that transcends cultures and eras. Interestingly, these stories of people coming from the sky to interact with humans can be found all over the world and share a common idea. The idea that we are not alone in the universe. Not only are stories of spiritual entities present throughout the world and at all times in history, but they are also present in all religions. This is a lot of coincidence that cannot be considered independently of the global context of UFO phenomena, even though there are distinctions between the different unidentified air phenomena. It is clear from all this coincidence that there is a multiplication of abnormally high factors which lead to speculation and hypothesis. Clearly, a combination of unusual factors and high occurrences in this region raises questions and speculation. The presence of a multitude of military bases, some of which remain classified and inaccessible, coupled with special or highly confidential initiatives conducted on the ground, creates an atmosphere of uncertainty. Add to that UFO sightings, as well as the ancestral traditions of local indigenous communities relating stories from celestial entities. The simultaneous existence of all these elements in the same region, such as New Mexico, creates an environment conducive to speculation, the emergence of hypotheses, and the exploration of alternative theories. The presence of military bases, some of which are highly confidential, potentially involves advanced technologies or out-of-the-norm experiments which could give rise to some unexplained observations. On the other hand, these secret installations naturally arouse curiosity and conjecture. UFOs' appearances add an additional dimension to this picture. The persistence and diversity of contemporary and historical accounts suggest unusual activity in this region, whether of terrestrial or extraterrestrial origin. These reports, while not in themselves conclusive evidence of the alien presence in this region, lead to the theory that this area could be a point of contact with other forms of life. It is not impossible to believe that the UFO sightings in the New Mexico region are of both human and extraterrestrial origin. The area is densely populated with military bases and test areas, including the famous Los Alamos National Laboratory and the White Sands Test Range. These facilities are known for their cutting-edge research and development projects, which are often classified. For example, spy planes such as the Lockheed U-2 and State Route 71 Blackbird were being tested in secret. These aircraft had unusual flight characteristics and shapes, often leading to reports of UFOs by the public. Similar technologies, such as advanced drones or hypersonic vehicles, could still be tested today, which could explain some of the UFO sightings. Besides that, no one knows exactly what is hidden behind these secret bases. UFO sightings near them inevitably suggest a link between the occurrence of these phenomena and the presence of these military bases. Could we see some of the high-tech, as yet unknown to the general public, that is being tested by the military? From stealth ship prototypes to advancements in propulsion, we may be unwitting witnesses to tomorrow's technology. Military bases are known for their cutting-edge research and development activities, which may explain some UFO sightings. But what adds a frisson of excitement to these assumptions is the lingering shadow of the unknown. What would happen if what we observe isn't from our world? What if the unidentified air phenomena were the result of interactions between alien entities and these military installations? It would be a revelation that would forever change our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. There is also the fascinating idea that both scenarios could be true at the same time. What if the advanced technologies were the product of secret collaboration between humans and aliens, or if they were the reverse engineering of alien technology recovered in incidents like that of Roswell in 1947? The Roswell incident in New Mexico stands out as the most mysterious and discussed of all contemporary UFO cases. A sudden transformation of the object's description from an aerodynamic disk to a mundane weather balloon sowed the seeds of suspicion and uncertainty. Was this surprising about-face a strategic move to safeguard large, classified, and highly confidential projects? Was it an attempt to prevent mass hysteria by avoiding revealing a reality that was too disturbing for the public? Or was it a carefully orchestrated smokescreen designed to hide the undeniable evidence of an alien existence, thereby confirming our place in a vibrant cosmos of life? Whatever the truth, it remains anchored in mystery. But each possibility opens up a fascinating field of inquiry. If the object was truly of terrestrial origin, involved in a classified project, it highlights the amazing technological capabilities of the time, and suggests that the progress made since then may be beyond our imagination. If the goal was to prevent mass panic, it indicates an acute awareness of the power of the unknown to instill fear, and perhaps an underestimation of the public's ability to accept the idea of an alien life. If the object was truly of extraterrestrial origin, it puts us in front of a possibility that upsets our perspectives. We are not alone in the universe. This thought raises a multitude of questions and opens a never-ending field of exploration on the nature of these alien beings and their degree of technological advancement. It also challenges our place in the universe and our perceptions of life in general. All three scenarios have their own mysteries and implications. All shed different light on our understanding of the Roswell incident and continue to fuel the debate about what really happened that day in the New Mexico desert.